Polling stations are open in Iran's presidential election. The country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, has just cast his ballot. He said it was the responsibility of every Iranian to take part. About 50 million people are eligible to vote for one of 6 candidates, and the winner will replace President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who's been in power since 2005.
Initially, there were hundreds of candidates, but last month the authorities disqualified all but a handful. Now they're down to just 6, and at first none of them seemed likely to bring fundamental change.
Iranians are heading to the polls in a presidential election that brings an end to Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's 8 years in power. Those years have been characterized by a bitter dispute with the West over Iran's nuclear program.
Iranian voters began voting as soon as the polling stations opened on Friday. Police officers tightened security. They recalled massive anti-government rallies soon after the result of the election was announced 4 years ago. The government has placed tight restrictions on use of the internet to limit demonstrations.
Across the country, the voters are standing out in long lines. Newspapers are blaring election-related headlines. One of them said, "The fate of the country is dependent on participation of people in the elections," says the supreme leader, quoting Khamenei. Another headline, 1 million Kurds expected to vote in Kurdistan province. Now, there is concern that after the mass demonstrations and disappointment among young people following the 2009 vote, turnout may be less than what the government is predicting. It's predicting around 70%. Part of the problem is the reality. The field of candidates narrowed so much, and all of them conservatives.
Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's mandate is up after 8 years leading Iran. While the country is set to turn the page, critics say the presidential election lacks a real choice. 2 main candidates were banned from running, former president and moderate-leaning Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani and Esfandiar Rahim Mashai, an Ahmadinejad ally. Meanwhile, Iran's true number 1, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, has claimed he has no preferred candidate.
Critics will claim that I have given my support to this person or that person, but let the truth be known, I don't support anyone in particular.
Critics claimed Iran's last presidential elections 4 years ago were rigged, triggering mass protests not seen since 1979. We spoke to one of the participants of the so-called Green Revolution. He was too afraid to be identified. We have disguised his voice.
اگر الان پیش بیاد بین انتخابات امید دارم که پیش بیاد مشکل داخلی خودشون من فکر می‌کنم اگر تهران داره تظاهرات پیش بیاد باید مردم بمونن شب و روز باید بمونن تو خیابون.
Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is Iran's outgoing president. He cut a defiant figure on the international stage. He also spectacularly fell out with the supreme leader, who this time around will be seeking a more compliant figure.